Good evening, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the second last day of Avenir 2021. I would like to begin with a quote written anonymously. Life is like a badminton match. If you want to win, serve well, return well, play cool, and remember that the game starts with love all. While Avenir 2021 opens up a world of opportunities and possibilities for our aspiring students, we hope that they soar higher, supported by the wings of values and ethics on one hand, and an attitude to serve and make choices towards the greater common good on the other. It is for this very reason we have in our midst today an international badminton player, Mr. Vimal Kumar, who has represented India at global championships for over 12 years. On behalf of Indian School Al-Wadi Al-Kabir, I, Aman Iqbal and Lian Alva of Class 9, ISWK, extend a warm welcome to Mr. Vimal Kumar. Welcome to Avenir 2021, sir. The flow of the program, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's fine. Go ahead, please.
Yes.
Good.
The flow of the program for the evening is as follows. We'll begin with a welcome address, followed by a brief introduction and video on the guest speaker. After this, we'll listen to our eminent speaker and then request him to answer a few questions raised by the attendees in the Q&A segment. We shall conclude the session with a vote of thanks.
It gives me immense pleasure to welcome the Chairman of the Board of Directors, Indian Schools in Oman, Dr. Sivakumar Manikam. We wholeheartedly welcome dignitaries from the Ministry of Education, officials from the Indian Embassy. A cordial and courteous welcome to all the members of the Board of Directors of Indian Schools in Oman.
A hearty welcome to Mr. Alkesh Joshi, the Honorary President of ISWK Management Committee and other members of the School Management Committee of Indian School Al-Wadi Al-Kabir. A heartfelt welcome to principals, vice principals, assistant vice principals, CBSE officials, HODs, coordinators, supervisors, and the entire teaching fraternity across the globe. I'm extremely delighted to welcome students from all over the world, parents, and all other invitees. We cordially welcome distinguished members of the business community, members of the education cell, our chief sponsor, StudyCo, and other sponsors, our digital partners, media partners, and valued donors. Thank you, one and all, for your gracious presence here this evening.
It is with sheer joy and great pride that I undertake the task of introducing our guest speaker for the evening, Mr. Vimal Kumar. While being an international badminton player himself and having represented India at the Asian and Commonwealth Games along with numerous prestigious championships, Mr. Vimal Kumar is also the co-founder and chief coach at the Prakash Padukone Badminton Academy. He attained the best world ranking of 18 in men's singles in 1988 and 1989 and has had an illustrious career as a coach for the past 25 years. His students include famous Indian badminton players like Saina Nehwal, Ashwini Ponappa, and Deepankar Bhattacharjee. Mr. Vimal Kumar was conferred the prestigious Dronacharya Award in 2019 by the Government of India. He was also honored with the Meritorious Service Award by the Badminton World Federation in 2016.
Let us now watch a short video on our guest speaker.
Dear young friends, I'm going to base my talk today on something that almost all of you are familiar with, sports. And I would like to dwell on the very question, why sports? Sport is defined as individuals or teams participating in physical or mental activity involving performance of specific skills in competition with self or others, and where uncertainty of outcome provides the challenge. It's a very tough definition. In other words, sport is a kind of sublimated war. When wars become less frequent, it must have evolved as a means for mankind to channelize their physical and mental energies in a less aggressive way. But during the last 5 decades or so, sport has morphed into such a national prestige issue, wondering whether the famous quote by legendary American football coach Vince Lombardi that winning is not everything, it's the only thing, has totally eclipsed the other dictum by Baron Pierre de Coubertin, the father of modern Olympics, who said that winning is not the only thing. Sports provides physical activity, enables kids to know their bodies better, helps them learn the process of conditioning, nutrition, healthy habits, and their lifelong benefits. It provides opportunities to meet as well as to engage, deal, and share with people. Sports enables one to identify the strengths, weaknesses, limits, and to try and reach beyond. It offers opportunities to dream, fantasize, and strive for magical moments. At the same time, it also offers a forum to come to grips with reality, to meet with success and satisfaction, failure and despair, adulation and isolation. Equally important, it also teaches us that sport, like life, is not always fair. For a youngster to learn the above or experience them, I do not think that there is any way other than to regularly participate in sports from a young age itself. However, sport also has a dark side to it. Sports, or rather competitive aspect of sports, can be stressful, injury prone, and it often develops selfishness and obsessive behavior in many participants, especially in individual sports. Many sportsmen also burn out and suffer from loss of confidence and exhibit poor sporting behavior. Upon taking a closer look, however, you will realize that the dark side is primarily due to the pressure that competition subjects our sportsperson to. This is particularly ironic considering the word compete is from a root which originally meant strive together. A clearer understanding of this meaning, and I know it's not easy at all, is to make sure sports more enjoyable for everyone. Coaches, teachers, and parents alike in particular do have a huge duty to inculcate the spirit among children right from a very young age. Since the lifespan of a competitive sports person is but a small part of a normal person's lifespan, it's almost as if life is on fast forward while in the thick of one's sporting career. Sportsmen have to learn and adapt much more quickly than in normal life and academics. At the same time, the qualities imbibed in the sporting arena will definitely last us a lifetime. Indeed, sportspersons are known to draw from the fine qualities developed in the playing arena and put them to fruitful use in various walks of life they may tread in their later life. One such quality is quick decision making. In a recent study of the most successful CEOs of the world over, the most valued trait was their ability to make quick decisions. It was also found that most successful among them developed this quality during their sporting days. For a very serious participant in sports, the ability to persevere and endure are a given. As it happens, these also two of the most required qualities. It is in academics, business, family, etc. Resilience is another quality which can be developed without much damage, only in sports. It really means the ability to take failure in your stride and to bounce back. Sports lets the participants fail very often, developing these qualities without much danger. For example, failing often in academics may not be a very desirable thing to do. As India is gradually turning into a sport-loving nation, aspiring to make a career out in sport is not so unthinkable at all. More and more parents are showing the willingness to let their wards pursue sport as a full-time career option. And the reason for this may not be far to see. This is because even if you reach a reasonably high level in your chosen sport, you are assured of a seat in a professional course or later on a good job as well. Prize money in many sports is also slowly becoming quite substantial. However, despite all this, parents still worry about the question, after your sporting career, what? The reassuring answer to this question is that there are many avenues and fields of study opening up to sportspersons after they give up competitive sport. Career in fields like sports management, sports branding and marketing, sports medicine, sports science, exercise physiology, sports psychology, sports nutrition, strength and conditioning, sports physiotherapy, commentating, video analysis, etc. are becoming more and more popular. These are areas where people with first-hand experience in sports can contribute greatly and at the same time derive great satisfaction after their active playing days are over. My sincere request to all of you is to wholeheartedly participate in some sport or the other right through your school and college days, irrespective of the success you achieve, for the spin-offs are far too many to ignore. Thank you.
Wow, that was indeed a splendid video. Dear participants, you're requested to fill in the feedback form, which will be posted in the description box towards the end of the session. Filling this form is necessary as it would fetch you a participation certificate. You're also requested to post your queries in the Q&A box. Our speaker will try to answer them in the Q&A session. Now, with great honor and pride, I invite Mr. Vimal Kumar to please address the virtual gathering this afternoon. We're all truly honored to have you speak to our participants at Avenir 2021 and eagerly await to hear from you, sir.
Hi, good evening, everyone, and thanks for having me. And it's good initiative from Avenir 2021. This is something on sport. You're doing. I know it's an academic institution, and yes, but like I mentioned in my speech earlier, it is sport did play a very major role in my life, because when I was coming up in the sport, maybe I'm talking about the late 70s. Many of you kids, you were not even born then, but that time, academics was the number one priority for everyone. There wasn't, if you take to sport, then you were considered as poor in academics. That sort of a mentality was prevailing then in the country when in the 70s, I would say. But for me, as far as I was concerned, I was very keen on playing badminton. I was a good badminton player in my school days, and I was already the number one junior player in the country. And so that is why I'm mentioning this is because at that point of time, when I finished my 10th standard, my mother, being a teacher, was very keen that I do medicine. So that was something, she wanted me to do. And my father was a little more flexible. He wasn't that forceful, but my mother prevailed in the end, and they put me onto a science group, and I did my pre-university as a science student because she wanted me to become a doctor. And then I did that. And by then I was already playing for the country. So I was very keen on continuing my career in badminton. And at that time, I don't know many of you whether you have heard of the best badminton player, one of the best badminton player India has had, Prakash Padukone. He was the world's best badminton player. Then in the early 80s, he was the #1 player. Of course, now everybody know him as Deepika Padukone's father. If I tell Deepika Padukone, you all will know him. Yeah, that's why I'm mentioning that. But he was the best badminton player then in the world, and we all looked up to him. We all wanted to be like him then. So when I finished my pre-university, and I was an average student, and I got sports mark, and then I got admission to medical college. And my mother was very happy, but I wasn't very happy, and I wanted to pursue badminton because I wanted to be like Prakash Padukone. So with great difficulty, all my relatives, but my school teachers in the college, they were very, very supportive. They all encouraged me, but from the home front, it was a tough decision, but somehow I could prevail, and I pursued. I took up commerce as the main subject, and so that I could devote more time for the sport. Now, why I'm saying this is because if you want to pursue sport, it is tough to do a professional course, either medicine or engineering or any of these courses are tough to handle when you have to play full-time sport, because then it becomes morning and evening. You need to devote a lot of time for the sport, and so that I could do, and then somehow I finished my graduation. And by then I was regularly a member of the Indian team, and then I moved to England. That was a big decision again, but the sport helped me move to England, and I lived there just playing badminton, and continued to play for India. I stayed back in England, and that was again another great experience I've got by living in another country. And why I'm saying this is because sport gave me that opportunity, especially badminton. When I was doing that, it was a big decision. But these days, when you look at it, you people have a lot more better opportunities. See, middle class people are a lot more affluent now, and they are prepared to come forward and support you. So as young kids, if you have a passion, the parents recognize that and they support you. But the most important thing is you have to take responsibility for whatever you do. Whatever you're pursuing, if you take that responsibility, don't blame anybody. Take responsibility and ensure that yes, okay, if you're sport or art or whatever, after the basic education, it's very, very important. You have to do that. Then, if you're getting an opportunity to pursue something of your passion, what you're passionate about, then you should continue that. And so that is something I keep telling all the youngsters, because the opportunities are a lot better. Again, coming back to this thing, like I mentioned, I could move to another country from India, moving to another country, and I could pursue my badminton over there. It was tough because I had to do odd jobs to earn money and sustain it. But I enjoyed that, because I enjoyed the sport to such an extent. I continued that. Of course, then I could continuously play for India in Asian Games, Commonwealth Games, Olympic Games, all those things I could do. And then when I finished with my badminton career, I moved back from England to India. Then of course, I could get associated with my idol, Prakash Padukone, and then we started the Prakash Padukone Badminton Academy. So I could get involved in coaching as well. So I'm still continuing in the sport. And, so I'm, in a way, I can say I'm very lucky to still be involved in the sport, because that is an opportunity I still feel is a lot more better for sport, not only in India, because if you look at it in India, things are opening up for sport, like I mentioned earlier. What Europe, US, all these advanced countries, of course, China was always with Japan and always were good in sport, but Europeans were very, very good in sport. But what those countries went through that phase is what we are going through now in India. So a lot more opportunities are there for sports person to come up in life. So pursue whatever, like I've said, your passion, you should continue doing that. and the opportunity. And these days, the academic institutions, everybody, they are very, very lot more supportive than in our times. Otherwise, we are all the time. Yes, our priority still as a middle class parent, it is just the academics. Because if they can somehow put their child into medicine, engineering, or if they become a lawyer, they're very, very happy about it. But please, this is my request to the parents: encourage your children. If they have an opportunity to, to pursue their passion, if they're good at something, please support them. And don't expect too much. But not at 11, 12 years. When you are enjoying a sport or something, don't look at 18 or 20 years, what I'm going to get out of it. Don't think that far ahead. Remain simple. Just do things whatever the best way you can, and automatically good things will come to you. So that is something very, very important. Pursue something very sincerely. Sincerity makes a big, big difference. So youngsters, all of you, that sincerity is very, very important. And that if you can pursue something with that passion and sincerity, I'm telling you, you can all achieve a lot better in life, because sport, like I mentioned, it's a short phase in your, you can play, maybe pursue a sport up to 30 or 35 years, active as a professional sports person. But then there are a lot of other things you can do after that. But what you learn during as a professional sports person is really will be useful for you to pursue something later in your life, in your career, whatever career, you will be bold enough to face it. I'm not advocating here for sport, but being a sports person, I'm mentioning this. But again, youngsters, all of you, just take responsibility. That's another thing I keep insisting, take responsibility. And then I'm telling you, you can all achieve a lot better. And I'm again thankful to all of you for giving me an opportunity to talk to you all. And I'll be very happy, to answer whatever the questions you have related to sport. And so I can, whatever the best I can, I've been doing that with the children and, giving coaching. And so I can give you from out of my experience. It's not just the book knowledge, what I'm talking to you about. It's from my experience, I can put it across to you. So I look forward to your questions. Thank you again for having me. Okay. You're able to hear me or?
Yes, sir. That was such an extraordinary and inspiring session, Kumar, sir. I'm sure that it has made some of our students seriously consider taking careers in the field of sports. Now, we would like to request our most honored speaker, Mr. Vimal Kumar, to kindly answer a few questions put forth by the audience. Sir, may I now invite our moderator for the session, Ms. Lubna, to share with you the questions raised by our audience.
Good evening, sir. Thank you for such an inspiring speech today. I'm sure that this has definitely motivated our young sportsmen, budding aspirants who have, looking forward to take up sporting as a full-time profession. Thank you for your awesome speech, sir. A few questions coming up, sir, that we would like to ask you. What is your most memorable moment that you hold close to your heart in your sporting career? One of the most memorable moment.
Yeah, maybe when I won the Indian national title, I was I lost many finals to one of the best Indian badminton player then was when I was playing was Prakash Padukone and Syed Modi. So many national championships finals I kept losing to him, and so when I finally won it, that was towards the end of my career. Even though I was playing good international stage, but at the national championships I kept losing to this particular player. And then eventually when I beat him, I was very happy. Then subsequently I could win the Indian national championships. I was really very, very happy. That is one of my one of my things I really still cherish that moment. Yes.
Yes, sir. Another question coming up. The biggest setback that you have ever faced in your career, and how have you taken it in your stride?
Yeah, that is something, when I moved to England to pursue my badminton, and I was those time, it was very tough too, because India didn't have much money to spare, and the association and other things were not cash rich to fund you. So I was doing odd jobs in England and playing badminton. So I had to play a badminton tournament in France. That was the French International in 1983. That's long. That was I was just 20 then, and when I played that, and I was the number 2 badminton player from India, but my entry was not sent by the federation, and so then I had to take it up with the International Badminton Federation, because I could do that because I was living in England, and I played that tournament and I won it. And when I came back, the association served me with a show cause notice for playing the tournament. So that I was very upset about it, and I felt really bad, because I was very scared that the association would ban me, because if they could do that, my career would have been I would have been in a lot of problems. So I was very upset about it, and then luckily the Indian media and others supported me, and then I could play. So that was something, and I wouldn't. I felt very bad about it, and that was really something I got really scared, because I thought I would have to stop playing badminton. But somehow I survived that, and I could continue to live in England and pursue my sport.
Another question coming up, sir. What is your best match moment in sports?
There are so many. I think maybe when we won the Asian Games bronze medal in 1986 in Korea, I could win my singles for India against Japan. So we beat Japan and we moved on to the semi-finals, and we could get a bronze medal. So that is something I really cherish. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Another question, sir. Do you see any change in parents' mindset over the years?
Yeah, it is. Yes, parents these days are very demanding, but we need them. Yes, they expect quick results from everything, because whether in academics or in sport. So if they think lots of them, even though they might not be having any sports background, but they think, just by putting them in a good sporting institute or a good training center, they expect results very quickly. But, they need to understand, that, that's not the way, just if you just pay money, you just cannot come up in sport. There are a lot of other factors, the physical parameters, how you develop, how you need to, certain children at 11, 12 years show better physical ability. And so it's a process, so they have to be patient. And then the others I've noticed is that the parents also get too much involved in things like advising them, even at home. They're all the time talking either about sport, what happened in the playing arena, in the coaching center. Did you get good attention? Did you do this? Did you do that? And they do such things, So in my opinion, they should avoid such things. Don't discuss the sport at home, because they are doing it in their training centers, wherever it is. When they come back home on your dining table, avoid discussing. If you don't know anything about sport, don't discuss. You allow the child to just pursue it, and and if they have issues, yes, they will come to you, but don't criticize the coaches, don't encourage them to complain, because if they start complaining too much, then it is not good. Because as a very young kids, if you keep encouraging them to moan, then they make it a habit. They'll try to come and give you excuses for everything. So at a small age, the winning and losing, everything, they need to. You need to teach them to take that in their stride, and also, like I mentioned, take responsibility. Give them that responsibility, and they will deal with it. because they don't know how to complain or anything at that age. Because as parents, teachers, whatever we do, that they absorb such things and that remains with them. So what we convey and what we do is very, very important. And so that is what my advice to the parents. I don't know that many of you might not like it, but but you have to accept that these are facts.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. That's definitely one thing we all need to keep in our mind as parents and teachers. Another question coming up, sir. What's your golden advice for our future sports lovers?
Sports lovers, yes, like I mentioned again and again, I'm saying, it is this is something, you enjoy the sport. See, everybody cannot become world champions, Olympic champions. But if you are pursuing something, try to play to pursue, realize your potential, whatever you can do, because sometimes, some people can only play the sport up to a university level or at the school level, whatever it is, you pursue that and don't get disappointed, because sport, it is not easy. So don't get disappointed, but pursue it, because it's a good activity. And ensure that you try to realize your potential. But only thing is that through sport, you have to develop some pride in yourself. Whatever the pride you develop, not only when you're playing for your respective countries, pride you develop. You have to have pride in at the district level or your school level or college level. Yes, I'm the best from my school. I will do good for my school. I will do good for my college. I'll do good for my state. Then the country comes later. So all these, when you practice it, then when you're representing your country, automatically these things will come to you. So that is something, through sport you can achieve and pursue. You have to indulge in sport, no doubt about it, and that is, and as a school, as a big institution, you people should encourage that.
Yes, definitely, sir. Another question, sir. How can the budding players achieve the same positive attitude as you have? You look so confident and so cool that everyone's in awe of your personality, sir. So they really want some words of wisdom from you.
No, there's no. I'm like I mentioned to you. I'm speaking from my experience. It is not that. This is sport. The sport gave me, because if you look at it, I'm still involved. I'm still involved with the young children, and on a regular basis, and I enjoy that. So it is like the healthy youngsters. You're all the time with the healthy kids. So they are, and their aspirations, when you see that, you feel very good. So you also feel young. So that is something I really enjoy even now. And so that is that's all I can say. It is not confidence or anything. It is, I'm just speaking these things from my heart. It is not prepared or anything. It is. So I'm just saying this. Yes, it is. Sport has given me a lot of things, and especially badminton. And one good thing, like I mentioned, because of badminton, I could travel to many countries. I could meet many type of people, and so many things. So in my opinion, for me, when we talk about every other thing, sport is the best religion. Everybody should take sport as a religion. A lot of peace all around the world will happen. So that is sport.
A last question, sir.
Yeah.
How have you convinced your parents, especially your mom, when you wanted to take up sporting profession? I think this would be by our students and by our youngsters who would definitely want to, try to convince their parents.
Yeah, my first thing my mother asked me was, if you are taking up sport, what will happen if you get injured, if you break your leg? What will you do in future? So that was something she asked me. I never thought about all these things. I just wanted to play, and but that was I never gave any credence to it or importance to it, and but when she asked me, and I said no, I just want to do this. And And she then went and talked to all my relatives and, my teachers, everybody, but somehow when too many people go against you, then you become a rebel. Then you want to, revolt. So I said, no, I'm doing just this. And I was very clear in my mind, and I just did that. And I can tell you very clearly, I have absolutely no regrets for doing that. Now I'm nearly 60 years, so I'm still okay.
I think there's one more question coming up. What's the secret, sir, behind the emergence of stars reigning in badminton?
Yeah, badminton, it has become picked on quite well, and maybe many training centers have come up in the country, because if you look at Indian badminton, we've always had good badminton players, right from the 50s and 60s. Of course, then Prakash Padukone made it very big in the country, and subsequently, we had Gopi Chand and Saina Nehwal and Sindhu, all these people, Srikanth and Pranoy, many good players have come up in the sport. So now badminton is the second most popular sport in the country after cricket. The main aspect, the reason for it is that it was at the grassroots level. We were able to ensure that it was more affordable for lower income group people, lower middle class and lower middle class. They could pursue the sport more seriously because it made it affordable. So that is something, of course, we still lack infrastructure in the country, and still a lot more needs to be done. But that is something, really helped the sport come up, and now we have thousands play the sport. Everybody wants to become a Saina Nehwal or a Sindhu, or, it is, and a lot of girls. So that also I'm very happy to see in the country, because we are very conservative. But if you look at it, many girls are taking up the sport seriously, badminton, and I feel very good to see such things happening.
Another question, sir. What would be the right age to make a choice of sports as a career choice? And do you think is badminton going to take over cricket in terms of popularity?
I wish, but anyway, that is, badminton has a long way to catch up with cricket. But still, it is how people are doing very well. And but if you look at it, the ideal age for any sport, I always tell is this was a sort of a system created by the Eastern Bloc, Eastern Europeans in the 60s and 70s. They came out with a formula that every child between the age of 4 and 6 years, they should get an opportunity to indulge in a bit of athletic activity, swimming and gymnastics. This is the base for every sport. So those years, you can make postural corrections, many small things, you can correct a child during that phase. Then when they go through the right way of running, everything they pick up at that age. Swimming, hand-eye coordination improves. So many things you learn from swimming. Gymnastics improves your flexibility and such things. So these three things, if they get an opportunity to indulge in, then at 7, 8, 9 years of age, when the child get to that age, then depending on the aptitude, it's easy for them to pick up a sport. Maybe some kid might be good at 7 or 8 years, depending on the environment. He might pick up cricket, or he might pick up football. He might pick up badminton. It depends on the environment available. Around that area. It is. But these three things should be made available to young kids, and if that can be done, yes, at least you can develop young, healthy, perfect, good young kids, athletic specimens. You can pray it, and then it's up to them, whether they want to pursue sport or anything. But it will help them, and so that is something we should look at doing it at the school stage.
Thank you, sir. Another question, sir. Kindly advise us on the courses for sport lovers to take up sports as a career.
Like I mentioned, there are so many opportunities these days, and certain players, they pursue very sincere. I've seen them, but during the course of their career, they get injured. They have to give up the sport. They go through a lot of trauma, and those sort of guys, I have seen, they can take up coaching, because coaching, they can still pursue, and and whatever, what was denied to them, that experience they have gained out of that, they can pass it on to the younger lot, so they can, address things a lot better. So coaching is something, you can look to. Of course, then some, if you are very good with the academics, sports science, sports psychology, so many avenues available. Sports management. Now it is all, of course, in Europe and all, it's big business. But, it is part of sport is big business as well. So you can, you can pursue. There is plenty of opportunities. But like I mentioned to you, it is very important that the youngsters develop sincerity. That's the key, and then everything will be okay.
One last question, sir.
Yeah.
Which sportsman player motivates you the most? Your role model, sir.
Yeah, I've always, because in the 60s, I read a lot about, when I was in school, I read a lot about Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay. He's my favorite sports person, because I thought when he fought against the system, and he was bold enough to do that, because when he in the 60s, when he was shunted out of a restaurant, even being a gold medalist, when he went in because of the racial issues, he was asked to go out. He threw his Olympic medal in the river. When I read all that, I felt very inspired, and so then he did not go to the Vietnam War for his beliefs, and then the license was taken away from him from boxing. But after that 3 years, he fought the case and then came back. Then America recognized him. So in my opinion, he's brought in big money, sport, everything. He made it really big. So he's my idol, of course, as far as the sports. Then, of course, beyond Borg and now Roger Federer, they're all my idols. Yes, Prakash Padukone, our Indian sports person, he's one of my favorite sports person. But Ali, in my opinion, changed world sport.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. I'm sure our young champions have quite a lot to take from today's session. Over to our student compares. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you, sir, for your support and guidance given to the large audience. You meticulously attended to their concerns and so patiently shared your views in the course of this discussion.
Thanks.
As we draw to an end of this enriching session, I deem it my great privilege to propose the vote of thanks. Let me first express my profound gratitude to His Majesty, Sultan Haytham bin Tariq Al Said, for the magnanimous benevolence showered on the Indian diaspora in the Sultanate of Oman. May the Almighty shower abundant blessings on His Majesty and His country. We extend heartfelt thanks to our eminent speaker, Mr. Vimal Kumar, for such an engaging session. Thank you, sir.
Our deepest sense of appreciation and gratitude to Dr. Sivakumar Manikam, our Chairman, Board of Directors, Indian Schools in Oman, and other honorary members on the Board of Directors, Indian Schools in Oman. Thank you for your encouraging presence and guidance at all times. A heartfelt thanks to Mr. Alkesh Joshi, the Honorary President, Indian School Management Committee, and other members of Indian School Al Wadi Al Kabir Management Committee for their profound encouragement at all times. I also wish to take this opportunity to express our heartfelt gratitude to the prudent captain of the ship, Mr. D.N. Rao, Principal ISWK, our honorable principals of the schools of MENA regions, Indian Schools in Oman, vice principals, assistant vice principals, coordinators, supervisors, and the entire teaching fraternity for your support and guidance. Thank you.
We are indeed grateful to our platinum sponsor, StudyCo, gold sponsors, Jain Group of Institutions, Grey Matter Academics, Sri Ramchandra Institute of Higher Education and Research, and Vellore Institute of Technology. Bronze sponsors, Middle East College, Thapar University, MIT World Peace University, and Dallas Baptist University. Our digital partner, Spectrum, and our media partner, The Arabian Stories, for their support in making this mega event a tangible reality. I wish to thank each and every student and parent for their valuable presence in making this session a grand success. An event of this kind requires the coordination of a committed team. Thank you to the ISWK team for making Avenue 2021 something we can all be proud of. Last but not the least, I thank Almighty God for making this session a great success. Thank you all. Take care and have a wonderful day ahead. The next sessions are by Vellore Institute of Technology, Dr. Ajit Jain and Dr. Malavika Iyer from 5:45 to 6:30. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, bye.
Thank you, sir.